тобою обернулась. И судьбу свою кляня, как текуча у меня. Я худел здесь на дня, не зря, наверное.
For what?
I guess the theater, maybe. Maybe Hunt for Red October.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was, I'm sure, yeah. Waxy Maxie's.
Yeah.
The whole ceiling is this way. Each corridor is built the same way.
I remember.
Oh,
I remember we were talking about
Yeah,
it.
good, good,
What a cool
you're
scene.
right.
Yeah.
He said he woke up in the middle of the night and was still alone.
On the bus tour of me.
I forgot how to
White
speak
cards.
English. Yeah.
I speak broken English now.
Yeah, it's like we.
We go.
Go. The cheap, the,
We
like,
go.
cheap stuff.
I could be back at home and be like, so we go. We go out.
For an actual shot.
We go out.
Hey,
I think I can tell you one Soviet joke.
all right. Soviet.
Yeah.
Go.
It's without some bad words. Without. It's alright. Well, little girl comes to her grandmother and asks her, "Grandmother, what is a prostitute?" She answers, "A little girl, this is the most terrible thing in the world." Then at night, grandmother is sleeping while this girl approaches her and says, "Grandmother, I'm a prostitute."
I get it. That's fine.
I missed that one.
You know, like she's being scary, like she was a ghost. You know,
It's
but
the
the
most
most
terrible
terrible
thing,
thing is
yeah.
a prostitute, so she's being the most terrible thing she could be.
Ah, I get it. Hey, I got the Willy
Hey,
Wonka joke.
Alan, only a Sumakum could get that one. Only a Sumakum.
I got the Willy Wonka joke.
Okay, Sumakum. Okay, enlighten us with a mind-tingling joke. Come on.
You gotta put the stamp on first.
Okay, go ahead.
Big, super big postage stamp.
What? Y'all can't
You're
remember.
gonna stop while you're behind.
No, I don't even.
No, actually, it's because a friend of mine in New Zealand told us all this.
So you want to get into it with?
Actually, I think all of them. I was trying to tell the same jokes.
Australians have
It's no joke. It's a true story.
Dump it on us,
no
Doug.
joke.
Well,
It's tragic.
Was your dad
reconstruction after the event.
Tell.
Well, we went to Japan in 1984 to my family and I, my parents and I, to just to look at some to Japan to see some housing equipment and maybe a few other things. And we went into one night we were at the hotel and Mom didn't feel so great, so we decided, well, she'd stay in the room for dinner. But we wanted to go get some authentic Japanese food. Instead of going into the restaurants where they have the menus and like half Japanese, half English, and they give you knives and forks and all that business, we wanted to go totally Japanese, where we didn't understand anything. We got what the Japanese people would get if they went to the restaurant. So we go into this restaurant, and they start speaking to us, and we go, "This is great, we don't understand a word." So we said, okay. So I got in there, finally sat down, got the menu, and Dover couldn't understand a thing on it. So we finally, one thing we decided was tempura, which we've heard of before, so we said, well, might as well take that instead of taking a chance, right? So we did, so we said, here, so she said, okay. So she brought us, a little bit later, she brought us out this little piece of wood, and it had three little dudes in the wood, and three different mounds of some substances. And like one was brown and real powdery, and one looked kind of like coconut, and one was red. But they were off to the side, and we said, well, we'll just leave those there and figure that out later. And so a few minutes later, she brings out some other stuff, and she puts that at the top of the place. Top of my place, top of Dad's place. I thought, well, I don't know what that is either, but just let that stay right there. So, and a few minutes later, she comes out, she brings out these little bowls, like cereal bowls. Puts them down, and just directly right in the middle of the place. And one for me, one for Dad. Still no silverware, mysteriously. No chopsticks, nothing. And we're thinking, well, this can't be the tempura, because tempura is some sort of fried stuff. And it's solid. But it must be some sort of appetizer, because she put it right in front. I mean, it was right there in the middle of the place. There's no room to put anything else on the plate. So I said, Dad, what the hell is this? And he says, I don't know, I guess it's soup. I said, but there's no spoon. And there's no handle on the bowl? What are we supposed to do now? He says, well, I guess we're supposed to pick up the bowl. So I said, well, all right, I haven't seen anybody else picking up their bowl.
He said so.
Whatever, you know, I don't want to insult them. So we both pick ours up, take a little sip, and I put mine down immediately and say, good God, I can't drink that stuff. Dad says, oh, it's pretty strong, isn't it? And I said, Dad, this is true Japanese, and I don't know if our American systems are ready for it. He says, well, we don't want to insult them and leave the soup bowl full of soup. So I said, all right. So I picked it up. Oh, Dad, I can't take any more. I put it down. I said, let the insults fly. I can't drink anymore. He says, well, I'm going to go the distance. He picks up his bowl, drinks the whole thing, puts it down, chink. And I said, oh, I can take it, Dad. Maybe my taste buds will disappear someday too. But anyway, so the waitress comes shuffling out in a little kimono. And she comes over and she has this thing in her hand. Her eyes bug out of her head. She looks down at the table and says, no soap! No soap! No, teriyaki sauce! Teriyaki sauce! Teriyaki sauce! The whole bowl of teriyaki sauce. It says, I don't want any more soup.
Thank you, Dad.
That's okay.
What a good story. Good story.
Japanese food
Okay,
is
Doc,
my
tell us.
favorite.
It's truth.
I love
It's the
Japanese
real
Tell us a little story, Doc.
It's awesome.
I don't have any of
Oh,
those.
something from your trade. You gotta have something from your
Little
trade.
anecdote.
Some
Something,
favorite
you gotta have
concert.
something
Little
little.
anecdote.
Tell us about
Something to tell
traveling
me.
Europe, playing piano for some rock and roll star.
Johnny Ray.
Johnny Ray. Did you play banging
He
keyboards?
just died a couple years ago. He was only, what, 60? He died? You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
So now, how did you end up in that situation?
Well, I was in stationed at East Spot, and I was an intelligence officer. Don't laugh.
What?
Because I couldn't fly. I was to ROTC with Dan Quayle, Keith out of Wars, and I was sitting at my desk measuring the length of runways from 30,000 feet, and someone at the BOQ found out that I played boom chick piano. That's what we used to call it. And they found this out, and the piano player for USAID dance band had just rotated back to the States. And so they took me TD White on the most glorious trip. We had 3 trips. The first one was to Finland, and the second one was to Prague, and the third one was with Johnny Ray. Now, Johnny Ray was a real strange cat. He was deaf, and he was one who sang, if your heart aches, da-da-da-da, if your little heart that cried or something. And you always find him pounding his chest about the middle of the piece. And, we finally figured out why it was. In the old days, the hearing aid was connected to a wire that went down here, and you had to keep up to get the keep it going and get good sweat. But on that trip, we did Athens and Ankara and Istanbul. Very exciting trips. We were up and down in the little B-47 about 3 times in one day, and my ears didn't unplug for days.
God, I bet that was hard playing.
Why didn't you just go into the band? You know
Oh,
what
talent. It's enlisted men are in the band.
You would have fit right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anyway.
Is the toothpick back in there?
Hi,
Put
Bart.
the toothpick back in.
Bart.
I thought Jim would Bart.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
No, that's
but
Barb.
just a Bart Lane.
Overruled.
Mean.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Dee. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Hi. To break your luck.
I used to
No,
do better.
because
Hi, Jags.
the zipper, like,
Yeah.
bad. But they tried to put a lot.
Hey, for working too.
Yeah, he did.
I asked
I'm
Dennis.
gonna learn. Oh,
But I got to know about it.
Hey, Sarah, how come you're in the motion? They said they were German. Turns out they were Russian.
Of course, without an audition.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We know who you would have been.
The plant. He was.